Let me start with something that cuts straight to the heart of wealth building. Not all low monthly payments are good deals. In fact, some of them are wealth traps disguised as affordability solutions. And the newest version of that trap is the 50-year mortgage. So today I'm going to explain exactly why ultra-long mortgage terms are one of the most dangerous financial tools being floated in the US market today. Why high net worth individuals especially should never touch them, why they quietly destroy equity and legacy planning, and why the generational consequences are far worse than most people realize. If you heard talk about 40-year or even 50-year mortgages being the solution to affordability, stay with me, because my research shows something very, very different. What looks like a small monthly savings now becomes a massive wealth drain over time. And if you care about protecting your long-term financial health, your retirement timeline, or the inheritance that you leave behind, this is a conversation you absolutely need to hear. If you're new here, my name is Danholm. I am the broker owner of Maxim Realty Orlando. I help high net worth individuals, investors, and strategic homeowners navigate real estate with clarity, data, and some long-range thinking. My goal is pretty simple. I want to help you make decisions today that strengthen your financial position for the next decade, not just the next year. So let's talk about the 50-year mortgage. Let's talk about the illusion of savings. Because the pitch they put out there sounds pretty appealing. Stretch the payments over 50 years and lower your monthly cost. And when you look at the surface numbers, the numbers they put out there, it seemed to work. On a $500,000 loan, the monthly payment difference between a standard 30-year and a 50-year mortgage might be about $135. That could change things for a lot of people. But that's all. And that's actually assuming that the interest rate is the same on both loans, which it most likely not will be, because we all know that the longer the loan, the higher the rate. So the real difference is more likely to be less than $10. That's about the cost of a very expensive cup of coffee or two cheaper cups of coffee a month. Not a day, not an hour, but a month. And that's the part everyone sees, the $135. That's basically just an illusion. But the part they don't see, the part that I think the banks hope they don't see, is the back end of the amortization schedule, where almost all the payments are interest. Because if you look at it, the cost of stretching that loan out an additional 20 years means that you're paying close to double the total interest over the life of the loan. And again, that's assuming that the interest rates are the same. If there's a difference in interest rate and the 50-year loan is more expensive than the 30-year loan, this becomes totally out of whack. But let's assume that it's the same interest rate. So on that same $500,000 loan, the borrower ends up paying about $378,000 more in interest. That's an 86% increase. And that's for the privilege of potentially maybe saving $135 a month. Like I said, assuming the rate is the same, more likely you're saving $10. But let's say you're saving the $135 that they say you're saving. Think about that. Even for that, would you ever invest $378,000 to save $135 a month? I don't think so. But that's exactly what a 50-year mortgage is. It's a bad investment disguised as affordability. So let me explain why this also becomes such a destructive tool for wealth building, especially for high net worth clients who understand that real estate isn't just a shelter. It's not just a place to live. It's an asset class. It's part of a portfolio. For a lot of people, it's a retirement pillar. It's part of the retirement plan. It's one of the very few, if not the only investment you can live inside of while it grows. But that actually only works if you're really gaining equity. And this is where the 50-year mortgage becomes fundamentally misaligned with long-term wealth creation. After 10 years, if you have a 30-year loan, $500,000 loan, you will have paid off roughly $82,000 in the principal. If you have a 50-year mortgage, that payoff amount in the first 10 years is closer to $39,000. That's a 52% reduction in equity accumulation. In other words, the 50-year borrower is barely making a dent in the loan for the first decade. They're essentially renting the money for the first 15 to 20 years, almost like having an interest-only loan. And if we assume, which is still true in the United States, that the average homeowner moves every 7 to 10 years, then half the borrowers in these loans would be selling with almost no equity progress. That is devastating for long-term financial health, because equity is not just a number. It's liquidity, it's freedom, it's safety, it's opportunity, and it's leverage for your next move. So if you want to see what happens when a country experiments with ultra-long mortgage terms, all you have to do is look at Japan. If you dig into the Flat 50, a 50-year mortgage designed to help families manage high prices in major cities, then you'll find, well, the idea was pretty simple. They wanted to extend the term long enough that the payment fits the borrower's income. Sounds reasonable. But here's what actually happened. In a deflationary and unstable market, homeowners started to see their home values stagnate or fall. Meanwhile, their mortgage balances barely moved. And we fast forward a generation, and heirs were inheriting properties where the remaining mortgage debt was higher than the home's market value. Imagine that. You inherit a home and you have to say, no thanks, the debt is worth more than the asset. And that's exactly what happened. In fact, it became so common that Japan is now dealing with millions of abandoned homes. Entire towns and villages are empty, full of empty properties that the next generation simply rejected. And here's the key difference. Japan has a cultural and legal framework for multi-generational debt. The US does not. We don't have a family structure built around passing debt to the next generation. We don't have a legal system that encourages it. And we don't have a safety net strong enough to protect families if they inherit liabilities instead of assets. If 50-year mortgages became widespread in the US, you could absolutely see a wave of strategic default by heirs who simply refuse to take on decades of remaining debt on properties that no longer aligns with their financial reality. And this really isn't just a theoretical concern. Even consumer advocates see this product as a potential predatory product. Because if you strip away the marketing, what the 50-year mortgage really does is maximize interest revenue for the bank while minimizing equity growth for the borrower. The bank wins, the borrower loses. And when you look at it through the lens of a high net worth individual's planning, the misalignment becomes even clearer. High net worth individuals prioritize wealth preservation, legacy, asset growth, liquidity, and tax efficiency. A debt instrument that delays equity by decades is the opposite of that. It slows down your compounding. It weakens your net worth trajectory. It undermines your retirement strategy. And it introduces real risk into your real estate planning, because when you may happen to reach retirement years with a mortgage that still has 25 or even 30 years left. That is not a wealth strategy. That's a liability strategy. So the bottom line, if you are focused on long-term wealth, on legacy, on compounding, on building equity that strengthens your balance sheet over time, the 50-year mortgage is not your tool. It is unnecessary, it's inefficient, and is structurally misaligned with the financial priorities of high net worth household. And it should be misaligned with priorities of any household, really. And when you contrast it with something like mortgage portability, which preserves equity, preserves low-rate debt, accelerates mobility, and safeguards principal paydown, the difference is like night and day. Portable mortgages support wealth accumulation. Ultra-long mortgages delay it. One accelerates your financial power, the other traps it. If you want to know more about portable mortgages, by the way, I did another video about that, so you can just look it up on your favorite social media and you'll be able to find it there. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. if you had the choice between a lower monthly payment with delayed equity or a slightly higher payment, and we're really truly talking about a slightly higher payment with much stronger long-term wealth creation, which one would you choose? Would you even ever consider a 50-year mortgage under any circumstance? Or does that equity lag make it a complete non-starter for you? I would really like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Even if you disagree, I would like to hear why you disagree and why you think, if you think that 50-year mortgage is like a good idea. And as always, if you're planning a move, an investment, or a strategic upgrade, and you want to make sure your mortgage structure supports, not sabotages your long-term financial goals, contact me directly and I'll put you in touch with somebody who can help make your mortgage plan, and I will be happy to help you find your next property and sell your current property. My team and I help high net worth clients make data-driven decisions every day, and we'll be sure that we will help you choose the structure that protects your wealth, not drains it. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye for now.
Hey, it's Danholm, and listen, if you don't follow this channel, there's a good chance you'll never see me again. I consistently create helpful content for those who are currently in the real estate market. This information can be extremely helpful for your buying and selling needs, so be sure you like and subscribe here. And most importantly, leave a comment to let us know if this video was helpful for you. We're here to help the Central Florida community, and we always love your thoughts and questions. Follow now, and I'll see you with our next helpful video.